Good morning, everyone. How is everybody today on this beautiful, blessed Sunday? Had some time to kill before I go into the gig later on today, drinking out of my Disney mug because this time of year there are all kinds of characters that want to come out of the woodwork. Hold on. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Kitra Marie. I reside in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm an artist, a writer, speaker, life, and a business coach. Got my new painting up here that I'm promoting for my painting class for December and January. It's a fun country scene, winter night barn, because y'all know I'm all about the country. Hoping everybody is taking advantage of the cooler temps. I'm hoping everybody is getting in their car, staying warm, and having good conversations. There is nothing better than being on a long drive and having wonderful conversations, telling stories, laughing. This time of year, with depression that sets in for a lot of different people, being able to laugh and being able to enjoy the person that you're with, enjoying stories. I've always got a story. Always got a story. The thing about those long drives, there seems to be layers that fall away and truths are able to be spoken. And as a life coach and as a person who has suffered from betrayal trauma, I never could figure out why people do not tell the truth. I do not understand how people can continue with one lie after another lie, not facing accountability for the actions that they have caused in somebody else's life. Because whether we all want to admit it or not, there's a trickle-down effect. What I do to somebody has an impact or an effect, hopefully a good one, but how they take my actions oftentimes is a result of a choice somebody else may make, or how somebody other than myself might tell a lie, might hurt somebody with their words, with their physical abuse, and how they think that that is not going to affect the other person. And if somebody has hurt you, somebody else does not get to tell you, no, it didn't. We all suffer from a lot of things that have gone on in our life. And when I say the word suffer, I don't mean like pain, suffering. Not everybody in this world has gone through traumatic experiences, but we all have to deal with a benefit or a consequence from the people that we allow into our lives. And the people that lie and the people that gather information on us, and those people that in order to defend their behavior, because they don't ever come clean, you never get the apology that you want, they will use what they know, a personal trauma, against you to try to gain some kind of control, to have something to hold over your head. And that is a true narcissist in the truest, purest form that there is. They wait till something in their behavior is questioned, and then instead of them being honest and facing why they act the way they do, or the way that their behaviors are, or the way that their quirks or idiosyncrasies, because that's my favorite word, they will take something that they know personally about you, and it's like they've stored it, and they just wait and they zing it right at you. Now, as a person who has trained as a life coach and has taken quite a few psychology classes, I'm very well aware of that's usually an indication that that person on that other side is feeling guilt. They are feeling shame. They are embarrassed in one way or the other, and they have been questioned on that particular behavior or that particular incident or that particular situation before, and not wanting to acknowledge the real truth into why they do the certain things that they do. A narcissist has a different hardwired type mind. A lot of it comes from genetics. A lot of it comes from what they have imitated and mimicked in their life. I have always said I will not set myself on fire to keep somebody warm. I will share whatever I have. I will give whatever I can give. But in order to give to you, I am not going to do without. Being a free spirit, I can go in accordance with what somebody needs or wants, but when it starts to take away from my free spirit, or it starts to interfere with my mindset where I know something is toxic and I know something is unhealthy, one, I will question just to see what the other person's reaction is going to be. And there is such a thing as when you go to question that other person, how they react, and it triggers something in a person that is reactive abuse. And I have learned not to respond. I have learned to not answer a text, not to finish a conversation, because it's manipulation on the other person's. They will blame you for your reaction to something that you have asked them that they will not want to give you the truth on. Betrayal. Let's talk about betrayal a little bit. It's like, and I've heard this before, and I don't know if you have heard it, but it's like you're in an airplane and you have a parachute on, and you have the person that you are closely related with, and you have a bunch of friends. And the person that you have trusted with your heart and your soul, that you have been the most loyal to, they push you out the airplane. You go to pull on your parachute, and it doesn't come off. Doesn't come off, doesn't come out, and you're plummeting, you're falling. And you happen to somersault, and you look back, and the person that you were the most loyal to is laughing. And everybody else in that party, in that airplane, knows exactly what that person did, and they think it's funny. They get humor, and they find laughter, and they find joy out of knowing that your suffering has been at that person's expense, but they think that person is just so wonderful. And as you continue to somersault and plummet to the ground, where that person thinks you're going to splat, that it's the end of who you are, you recover. And as you recover and you start to heal in different ways, because, the other adage is take a plate, throw it on the floor, and then try to put it back together, it never goes back the same way. You've shattered that person's spirit, you've shattered their soul, you've shattered their heart. And by the person who has hit the ground, by the time that they realize what has happened and they put themselves back together, they usually come back stronger. They usually come back more educated. They usually come back this whole different version that people never thought that you would recover from. So while people are continuing to lie, while people are continuing to live behind this great fake life, knowing what they've caused in somebody else's life, and there's been this big trickle down effect. I was listening this morning to a friend of mine. I don't know her personally, but I kind of feel like I know her, and I have been messaging back and forth about a bunch of different things. But she had said this morning, which I have been having this feeling, and I'm not a psychic. There are things that I do get intuitively on occasion. There are things that I know that I don't know how I know it, but I do. I know I end up knowing things. I have dreams that I feel like are messages. And before I continue with the story, just a real quick little funny one. A few months back, I sound asleep and I woke up to hearing Carole King in my head. I mean, like at the top of whatever decibel, I was listening to Carole King, and I'm like, Okay, that's weird. And then in that third eye's mind, I heard a voice say, "You need to go get that CD. You'll really enjoy it." And I just started laughing because I knew exactly who that voice was, and I knew exactly what that message was. And believe me, that day I ran out and went and got that CD. But back to what I was saying, I was listening to Tasha this morning, and I've listened to a couple different people too, and I have had the same feeling. Right now, there is somebody out there that they have told so many lies that somebody is holding something over their head as if they are being blackmailed for not telling the truth, or somebody knows something about that person that that person does not want to come out. And the whole thing is, if the person would have told the truth to begin with, from the very get-go, from the very beginning, whatever in that trickle down effect, because what happens in that trickle down effect, people think that they're getting away with something. And in reality, God sees everything, your higher power, your universe, whoever it is in your circle that you really think are your best buds, they know the truth. They watch that person, no matter who the person is. And I'm not particularly speaking about one person because there's a whole bunch of characters that fall into this category. But they start to slip up. And they start to put 2 and 2 together and 4 and 4 together and 8 and 8 together. And they're like, none of this is making sense. None of this is making any sense. Why would so-and-so do this? Why would so-and-so say this? Why is so-and-so's life falling apart when, if they would have told the truth from the get-go, the trickle-down effect would not have landed whomever in the trouble that they're in now, and somebody would not be having something to hold over their head. A very insecure person will gather information and they store it. They store it in this very evil part of their heart, in their mind. And a person who is healing, a person who is aware of character behavior or more aware of the issue, has been more on that person's, and I'll use the term sociopath behavior, because nobody inflicts that kind of deliberate pain on another person without having empathy or compassion, without having sociopath tendencies get in the way. And as a person who is healing, a person who has studied, and I don't know this word and I say it wrong all the time, but in the part of our brain, the amygdalin, that stores trauma and emotion, it will keep a person locked in that betrayal no matter how much they've healed, how much they've talked about it. And a person who is healing, when they find another that they feel they can trust, a person that they think is going to be loyal, they talk about the situation. They talk about the person often. It's part of a healing and recovery. And there's a huge, huge difference in recovery, talking about a story, talking about a person, other than a person who is talking to many, many different people, telling the same story because they're looking for attention. Huge, huge difference. There are people who are constantly in victimhood mode, where they are always gathering people to feel sorry for them, to get attention for their stance, no matter what situation they may be going through. They're always looking for different people to feel sorry for them, and they will repeatedly tell the same woe story, versus a person who is in recovery, who is healing. They will have a very small, minute handful of people that they will trust, that they feel that they can talk about things, that they can try to piece together things that have happened. You know, as human beings, we do compare relationship to relationship. We pick and choose the good things in one relationship that we carry into the next relationship, and we try to leave out the bad experiences that we had and not carry it over. But oftentimes, betrayal trauma, it does carry over. And the person that comes along after that betrayal, they have to be a very secure individual. They have to be very compassionate and very empathetic to the fact that that person has gone through some shit that it's something out of a true crime mystery. You know, it's out of a bad romance novel. You know, we all want our relationships to be healthy. We all want to be given just the more than the bare minimum of be loyal, be trustworthy, be honest with who you are. Don't lead with empty promises. Don't lead with hope that's never going to be fulfilled. You know, take a look at your own life, take a look at your own traumas, take a look at your own experiences that you have had in your relationships. You know, and if you have had trauma, come to terms that the trauma you are not the trauma. It happened to you, but that is not who you are. You just had no other choice than to heal the way that you did. We talk about these things in my vision board class. You know, we all have things that we have to get over. We all have things that we tried to let go of. We all have things that carry with us in our memories. It's not healthy to live in the past. It's not healthy to live in a certain decade and wish that people were still in this moment. You know, there's somebody that I know, a couple different people that I know that love to live in the past. They talk about when they were young. They talk about when they were teenagers. And it's like whatever else has gone on since they have become adult, they always want to resort back to when they were young and when they were a teenager. That is not a healthy mindset. It's good to reminisce. It's good to remember. But then you have to live in the now, and you have to deal with what's happening in your immediate circle, in your immediate life, with your job and the people that you're coming in contact with. You know, it's nice for the holidays. You get together with family and you talk about stories and you relive certain things, and then you let it go because it no longer applies. That's not the life you live anymore. This is the life that you live now, and how you've recovered or how you have healed, how you have gained knowledge and experience only helps you tell your story or share a moment, especially when you're in a vehicle and you're driving with somebody and you're comparing lives and you're finding out the ins and outs of why a person ticks, how a person wants to love, and how a person needs to be loved. So if you are interested in any of my classes, whether it be my painting class or a vision board class, where we talk a lot about love, we talk a lot about healthy relationships and the things that we need more than the bare minimum. We all have love languages. I've always said mine is build me. You could buy me things. I'm grateful. I'm appreciative of what I have had. And over the last 4 years, I have had some wonderful gifts bestowed on me. But for a person to constantly be giving gifts, there is something within themselves, because they cannot connect emotionally with the other person, speaking their authentic voice, their authentic mind, their authentic heart. Gifts are great for the holidays. Gifts are great for birthdays. Gifts are great for surprise here and there. But if you find that you're with somebody who is constantly love bombing you with a gift, eventually the love bombing stops, the criticism sets in, and you realize that you are with somebody that offered you a bunch of things that are never going to manifest into what you personally need as a healthy human being, not codependent in a relationship. So for today, for tomorrow, be happy, be blessed, be thankful for all the wonderful things that do come into your life. I am Kitrin Marie. I can't even talk. Kitrin Marie. I reside in St. Louis, Missouri. I am an artist, a writer, a speaker, a life, and a business coach. Remember, fate does turn on a dime, and only you get to decide what side of the coin you want to be on. So y'all take care, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.